Hi campers, I'm Kim Overpeck. I'm so excited to connect in with you today as we're just launching business camp. You're starting to get really excited and the momentum's going to pick up really quickly here. But before we get too deeply into that momentum, before we start with all of the really fun education and income producing activities that we're going to teach you, we want to start with what we feel as coaches is the very most important part of your entire business. And that is really sinking in and knowing what your why is. This process is something that I did very early on, honestly, about 6 months into my doTERRA business building journey. And I learned it at an elite retreat that I attended with Patrick and Elise Chedevy. They hosted this retreat. They taught us all sorts of tools and skill sets and mindsets. But honestly, if I were going to say the one truly pivotal, most powerful thing that I came away with during that elite retreat was really having sunk into my why, having gone through this process that I'm about to walk you through right now. And really sinking into what that meant for me, because it really framed every single thing that I did from that point forward in my business. It kept me authentic. It kept me showing up to serve and not getting salesy and all of the things that I really dreaded about network marketing. So I think it's really important. And since then, Spencer Pettit, who is also in the Chedevy's downline, wrote a book called Belief Blueprint, that where he goes deeply into not only the process I'm about to walk you through, but also just a lot more heavily into the why and what that means, and really sinking into that space for yourself. Now, the book that I read back in the day was Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and I absolutely love this guy. And if you have ever watched his TED Talk, it's just Google it. I think it's called Why How Great Leaders Inspire Action. And I want to say it's maybe 10 or 15 minutes long. I can't remember, but it really was powerful, because one of the things that it taught me was that people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And that is so important for you to start from that space, because everything else will build on that, and it's going to be really important. So I'm going to walk you through this. Now, if you haven't heard the phrase finding your why before, you might be like, okay, what is this? Is this kind of healy-feely kind of stuff? It really isn't. Really, this is all about effectiveness, and it is about focus. And it is about really understanding your life's calling, what it is that you are here to do, and to learn how to wrap doTERRA around that why, as opposed to bowing your family, your energy, your time toward a doTERRA business. You're actually learning to have your doTERRA business serve your why. And to me, that is, it's absolutely important. So having your why be absolutely clear is key, because what happens, we all are going to have experiences where nobody shows up to a class, or somebody says no thank you to a sample after you've given it. And if you aren't really clear on your why and sort of what your path is looking like, and you're really focused, then you'll sort of get really discouraged when those things happen. And it's going to be really easy, especially after one or two or maybe even three or four negative things that happen in your business along your journey. You might be like, you know what, this just really isn't for me. It's just not for me. Whereas if you start with your why versus what other people are going to do, it will help you get over those hurdles a lot quicker. So, we just don't want you to give up. Remember, we talk about only giving up on a good day. So it's going to be really important. And this is one of those things, when you are so deeply entrenched in your why, you will very rarely find that you give up for anything. So here's the part where we need to do the actual exercise, all right? Because you might think, well, Kim, why can't I just ask myself why? Why? Why are you doing this? And then I just write it down and then I'm good to go. Well, because sometimes your first why can kind of be thin. It can kind of be surfacey, and that's not a slam on your why. We're just going to invite you to take the layers of the onion a little bit deeper, because honestly, your real why lies below the initial. What maybe your initial why would be. So let me give you an example. Let's just say that let me think of what one would be. So let's just say I asked you, what is your why? And you said, well, because I want to help people. All right. So that's noble and that's wonderful. It's just a little surfacey. So it's not to knock it. If that's what you've written down as your why before, it's okay. That's just where we're going to start, because remember, this book is Start with Why. We're going to start with the surface why. And so what we're going to do as I walk you through this process, we're going to actually peel back a few of the layers and get down to the nitty gritty why, the part that's going to make you committed, the part that moves your soul. That's the why. Yes, we all want to help people, but when the rubber meets the road and things are going badly, I just want to help people will not be enough to hold you in that place, to hold you accountable to yourself, to keep moving forward with your why and your path and your mission. All right, so that's going to be really important. So right now I'm going to ask you to pause this video if you have not gathered a piece of paper and a pen. So go get a piece of paper and a pen and meet me right back here. And then if you have a piece of paper, now that you have that paper and pen, I would love it if you would just quiet, maybe close your door, get to a place where it's quiet, maybe go sit in your car if you have little kiddos, because I know how hard it is to kind of get quiet sometimes and find that space. But in this moment, I really invite you to get quiet with me. Okay, because I'm going to walk you through some very thoughtful questions, and you're going to need all of your concentration, and you're really going to need to be able to sink into your heart space and really listen to what your heart and your soul are telling you in this moment. Okay, so at the top of your paper, so I'm going to walk you through 4 questions. At the top of your paper, before we get going then, I want you to think of a goal. All right, so I want it to be, and you're going to write it at the top of your page. It's going to be, I want to start a doTERRA business, or I want to reach elite rank in doTERRA, or maybe you've been around for a while and you're like, I want to move into silver as my rank. Maybe it's a certain income, whatever that is. But in this situation, I want it to be about doTERRA, because this is what we're going to walk through to help your business. Now, you can use this process in your marriage, in your fitness, in your other goals in life. But for today, I ask you to keep this around doTERRA, around your business here. Okay, so this is going to be something fairly short term. This isn't going to be, well, in 5 years, I want to be a presidential diamond. That's not what we're going to do. This is going to be fairly short term, like within the next 6 months. In 6 months, maybe a year, but really in the next 3 to 6 months would be fantastic. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Again, we're going to focus on doTERRA. And from this point, I will tell you that the video, I'm going to move through these questions quickly, but generally when we're sitting in space doing this live, if I were sitting here and you were sitting in my office here with me, I would probably walk you through this in about 20 minutes, because I want you to really sink in and hear, and I probably have some quiet music playing or something to really help you get still. In this video, I need this to only last a few minutes. So just know at any point that you want to stop the video, or not stop it, but pause it, that would probably be helpful, because I don't want you to just, boogie through this. All right. This is a very thoughtful process. So I want you to take a deep breath. Just clean that out. Bring in another breath. If you need peppermint or something to help you get some clarity, some rosemary, something to kind of clear your head, that's also very helpful in this process. Cypress is the oil of flow and release. That's also a great oil to kind of help get things moving in your soul, to really listen in. So I'm going to ask you question number 1. I want you to thoughtfully put down your answer. And question number 1, about your goal up at the top, is why are you pursuing this goal? So the question is, why are you pursuing this goal? And the answer I want written in this way. I want you to say, because I, and then fill in the blank. Why are you pursuing this goal? Because I, and fill in the blank. Now remember, in this moment, it may be something quick that rolls off your tongue. Oh, well, yeah, I want to help people. Or, I want to set people free. I don't know what that is for you. I don't want to give you lots of ideas. I want you to just sit with that for a second. So the question is, number 1, why are you pursuing this goal? And it's going to be written out. Your answer is going to be written out because I, and fill in the blank. So pause the video if you need to. Okay. Question number 2. Remember, I'm going to go quickly, but you need to pause and spend time with each question. Using the answer that you just wrote in the question above, I want you to ask yourself, why is this important to me? Why is this important to me? That's the question. The answer is going to be written in the form of because I think. Okay? It's going to be really important that you write these in this way. Okay? Don't just like journal for 5 pages. Really answer them in this way. Because I think, and then fill in the blank. Why is that important to you? What you just wrote in the question above. Why is that important to you? Because I think. What? What do you think? We're diving a little deeper. We're diving a little deeper. Okay? Pause the video. All right, question number 3. Using the answer above. Why does that matter? Or you might phrase it, why is that important to you? So you just whittled it down. So the answer you just put above, I want you to ask, why is that important to me? Why does it matter? I remember Patrick Shedeby used the phrase, why does that matter to me? And I love that. That connected with me. So either one of those is fine. Why is that important to you? And then your answer, sorry, I forgot to give you the answer. The answer is going to be written in the phrase, because I believe. Because I believe, fill in the blank. Now, I hope you've paused this and are sitting with this question. If you're back, that's awesome, because what we've just done is we've shifted. I bet by this third question, you have felt a shift. I bet by this third question, you have felt yourself go deeper into that why. Okay? We are sinking into some core beliefs of yours right now. We're going to sink into what truly motivates you. Okay? That's intentional. Now, the fourth question, using the question barely above, just using the answer to your question number 3, how do I know this? How do I know this? So that's the question. The answer is written in the form, because I know, fill in the blank. How do I know this? And then fill in the blank. Sit with this question. Put me on pause. I'll be here when you get back. All right. So you've answered all 4 questions. You've sat with it. Now, my guess, if you did this right, and you did this quietly, and you didn't have distractions, and you really were asking these questions from a place of knowing, you probably tapped into some pretty strong emotions. It's really normal, really normal. In fact, some of them, and this is okay, might have been negative, okay? They might have been negative because I never want to feel this, because I never want to experience this again. Mine were negative. and you know, so they're not all humanitarian. Remember that. Your why is going to be really powerful. So they might even feel a little selfish, and that's okay. Please, this is not a place to judge yourself. This is a place, it's good. It's good when you can get to the real, true answer versus, oh, I want to help people. Well, the truth is I did want to help people. But the truth is also, if you watch my video on the why, it really opens up and sinks into what my deepest why was, what I never wanted to feel again, what I wanted to feel more of in my life. So watch my video, you'll see that. So what you have just discovered are actually the real, deep, nitty-gritty, motivating reasons behind why you're doing what you're doing, why you're here, why you want to do this. Yes, we're going to help people in the process, of course, but we just dug a little bit deeper. Now, I invite you to enjoy this process. I invite you to take the time. If you're a contemplative person like me, this might have taken you an hour, and that's totally okay. I have other leaders who don't like to take that long, and they don't even really like kind of getting quiet with questions and things like that, and that's okay too. So what I want to invite you to do is if you get to that 4th question, and let's just say that you kind of just didn't really feel like you tapped into it. Like, okay, well, that was kind of fun, but I still don't. Keep going. it means you have a few more layers to dig into. So keep asking the question again, because I know. Because I know this, and da da da. Why is this important to me? Because I know. And just keep on and keep on and keep. You may have to do it 5 or 6 more times till you really get. Now, I believe that when you get to the tearful stage, that's it. That's the moment where you really, truly have hit it. And I only say that because I have walked countless people through this process sitting in front of me. And it's almost always when they get choked up, there's their why. I sat with a gal one time that was just hardcore, not going to do this. And I said, would you just let me walk you through this process? Because she was having such a hard time growing her business. And so we took her back after about 6 months or a year of trying to grow her business back to this moment, this exercise. And this woman was very, very strong. And I took her all the way back until the moment her voice cracked. And the moment her voice cracked and tears sprung into her eyes, I looked at her and I said, there's your why. And from that point on, she was able to sink into the why. And then everything that we mentored around that was around her deepest why, not just doTERRA as a fun idea. It was really powerful. So I strongly encourage you to keep writing and keep digging, because you will know when you hit it. Okay? So your mind, it may not make sense in your mind, but it will make sense. Your emotions will be connected to it. So use this why. From this point on, write it down, put it on a card, put it on your screensaver, whatever you have to do. We're going to sink back into this why again and again and again and again, not only over the course of business camp, but over the course of your entire doTERRA career, and your entire life is really where this is going to come. So thank you. Thank you for taking the time to go through this with me. Thank you for being willing, and I look forward to seeing more of you in business camp.